What if the moment you finally start winning is the moment something far worse start watching you? This chapter changed everything. For the first time, the hunter are pushed back. Naruto plan worked perfectly, and the balance of power began to shift. But hidden behind that victory, something ancient, something beyond god and monster. He finally noticed him, and it's not just watching anymore. So watch until the end.
Night clung to the shattered valley like a suffocating cloak. The wind howled between broken stone statues and jagged cliffs, carrying the metallic scent of blood. Naruto Uzumaki lay on his back among the rubble, staring blankly at the storm-dark sky. For a moment he didn't move. Then his chest jerked as pain stabbed through him like a blade of ice. A wet cough escaped his lips. Blood followed. The blonde shinobi winced, fingers trembling as they pressed against the deep wound in his side. Warm liquid soaked through the armor beneath his palm. The damage was severe. Even his abnormal endurance couldn't mask that truth. Still, a faint grin tugged at his lips. Heh. The sound was weak but genuine. He had done it. Across the shattered ground, several meters away, Sasuke Uchiha lay unconscious, his dark hair partially covering his face. The last battle had pushed both of them beyond their limits, leaving the valley scarred with the aftermath of their clash. Naruto turned his head slightly toward the fallen Uchiha. "You're not going anywhere now," he murmured hoarsely. The mission had sounded simple when Tsunade gave the order, "Find Sasuke, bring him back, do not kill him." Naruto had followed that final rule. Now he wasn't sure it had been the right choice. He shut his eyes briefly, breathing slowly through the pain. Naruto Uzumaki was only 13 years old. Lame but resilient, his body carried the marks of countless battles fought far too early in life. His sun-bright hair had grown a little wild over the years, and streaks of darker color hinted at long days spent under harsh sunlight. His blue eyes, normally blazing with stubborn energy, were now dimmed with exhaustion, but the most noticeable marks were the whisker-like scars on his cheeks, proof of the burden sealed within him. Naruto wasn't just a shinobi, he was a Jinchuriki, a vessel, a living cage built to imprison the nine-tailed fox. That single fact had shaped every moment of his childhood. From the very beginning, the village had looked at him differently, not with curiosity, not with sympathy, but with fear and hatred. Naruto still remembered the cold stares from shopkeepers who refused to serve him, the whispers that followed him through crowded streets, the fists that sometimes came out of the shadows when no shinobi patrols were nearby. Even the orphanage had eventually pushed him out. Too troublesome, too dangerous, too unwanted. He had been 4 years old. Naruto's fingers twitched slightly against the rocky ground as the memories surfaced, but he hadn't broken. Instead, he disappeared. The forest of death had become his refuge, a place so dangerous that most villagers wouldn't dare set foot inside it. Perfect. There, among venomous plants and deadly beasts, Naruto learned how to survive, hunting, fishing, setting traps, and occasionally stealing supplies from those who had once made his life miserable. It was also where he met her, Enko Mitarashi. The loud, unpredictable woman had stumbled across his hidden camp one afternoon and immediately declared two things. First, that Naruto's cooking was terrible. Second, that he was now her apprentice. Naruto had tried to refuse. Enko had ignored him. What followed was 2 years of brutal training, chaotic missions, and the strange kind of mentorship only Enko could provide. She laughed loudly. She trained harder than anyone, and she never once looked at Naruto with fear. Eventually, the Hokage discovered where Naruto had been hiding and forced him back into the village. An apartment, a proper education, official recognition as a shinobi. Naruto accepted it, but he never trusted the village again. Even now, traps still surrounded his apartment, some harmless, some not. Despite everything, Naruto still managed to build friendships. Hinata had been the first, quiet, shy, but determined. Then came Shikamaru with his lazy genius, Choji with endless snacks, Ino with her endless yelling, Lei with unstoppable enthusiasm, Tenten with sharp focus, and others. Even Kurenai occasionally checked on him thanks to Enko. Not everyone welcomed him. Sakura still treated him like an annoyance, and Sasuke. Naruto glanced again at the unconscious Uchiha. Their rivalry had always burned hot, but somewhere beneath it, Naruto had believed there was still something worth saving. That belief had nearly killed him tonight. Naruto exhaled slowly. The world around him was beginning to blur. His body felt heavier. The bleeding hadn't stopped. Even with the Kyuubi's chakra stirring deep inside him, recovery wasn't instant. And this wound. This one was bad. His eyes drifted toward the sky again. Clouds slowly parted, revealing a pale moon above the valley. Naruto smiled faintly. Guess this mission's over. His vision darkened slightly at the edges. Sleep pulled at him, heavy, comforting. For the first time in a long while, Naruto didn't resist it, if this was the end. It wasn't the worst way to go. He had fought, he had protected his friends, and he had stopped Sasuke from disappearing completely into darkness. Not bad for a kid the village once called a monster. His eyelids slowly lowered. The wind suddenly changed. Naruto's instincts screamed. Even half-conscious, years of brutal training forced his senses awake. Someone was there, not Sasuke, not a leaf shinobi, a presence, cold, ancient, watching. Naruto forced one eye open. A silhouette stood at the edge of the shattered valley, tall, wrapped in a dark cloak, motionless, observing the two broken boys lying in the ruins. Naruto tried to move, his body refused. The stranger slowly stepped forward. Moonlight revealed a pale hand reaching out toward Naruto. Then Naruto felt something stir violently inside his seal. The Nine Tails roared, not with rage, with fear, and for the first time in his life, Naruto realized the monster inside him was terrified of something outside. The stranger spoke quietly. So this is the child. Naruto's vision went black, and the last thing he felt was the seal on his stomach beginning to crack. Darkness did not come gently, it swallowed him whole, but the moment it did, something inside Naruto refused to sink completely. There was heat, not the chaotic, suffocating burn of the Nine Tails. This was different, controlled, ancient, forged. The void around him fractured. A blinding glow tore through the darkness like molten metal poured into a mold. Naruto's fading awareness clung to that light. And then everything shifted, somewhere beyond the shinobi world. The air itself felt heavy, thick with power. The scent of burning iron and ash lingered like a living presence. Naruto's body lay motionless on a blackened stone floor, his blood no longer spilling, but not yet healed. A figure stood over him, tall, broad, silent. His outline flickered between forms, like reality itself struggled to decide what he truly was. At one moment, a scarred man with hardened eyes, the next, a familiar face, blonde hair, calm, unreadable expression, Minato Namikaze, but the warmth that once defined that face was gone. Only something far older remained behind those eyes. The man the being knelt slowly beside Naruto. For a long time he said nothing, just watched, studied, remembered. 13 years. His voice was quiet, but it carried weight that didn't belong to this world. I missed everything. His gaze traced the boy's face, the whisker marks, the dirt, the scars both visible and hidden. His hand hovered above Naruto's chest, just above the wound, then clenched, and you endured it alone. Oh. For the first time, something cracked in his expression. Not weakness, not regret, something heavier, a mistake that could never be undone, inside Naruto's mind. The Nine Tails stirred violently, chains rattled, water surged, the beast's massive eyes snapped open in the darkness. That presence. Its voice wasn't filled with rage, it was sharp, uneasy. That is no human. Back in the forge-like realm, the man exhaled slowly. I gave you a burden meant to save a world. His voice hardened and condemned you to suffer in it. His hand finally lowered, not to the wound, but to Naruto's head, a brief, almost hesitant touch. I will correct that. The air trembled, heat surged, the very ground beneath them glowed faintly. The wound in Naruto's chest began to close, not with chakra, but with something far denser, far older. His body reacted instantly. Bones strained, muscles tightened, energy flooded through pathways that had never carried it before. Naruto's unconscious form jerked violently. A ripple tore through space behind the man. He didn't turn, he already knew. A figure emerged. Silver hair, mask, a single visible eye widened in disbelief. K. The word died before it could fully form. The man stood, slowly, deliberately, then turned. Kakashi headache froze, everything in his body screamed at him. Run, attack, speak. He did none of them, because the man standing before him looked like his teacher, but felt like something that had no place in the shinobi world. The silence stretched. Then, you're late. The voice was calm but cold, unforgiving. Kakashi swallowed, his throat felt dry. I came as soon as I Save it. The interruption was sharp, not loud, but absolute. The man's gaze shifted slightly, toward Naruto, then back to Kakashi. I saw everything. 3 words, each heavier than the last. Kakashi's body stiffened. Sensei. Do not call me that. The temperature dropped instantly. Even the air felt like it rejected Kakashi's presence. You watched. The man took a step forward. Kakashi instinctively stepped back. You knew. Another step, you chose silence. Kakashi clenched his fists. I thought. Oh, you didn't think. The words cut clean like a blade. A faint glow ignited around the man's hand. Fire. But not like any fire Kakashi had ever seen. It didn't flicker, it pulsed, alive. You taught me something once. The man's voice dropped lower, dangerous, about comrades. Kakashi's breath hitched, and yet. The fire intensified. You abandoned mine. For a moment. Kakashi couldn't speak, couldn't move, because deep down. He knew there was no defense. The flames vanished just as suddenly as they appeared. The man turned away. You're here for the Uchiha. Not a question, a dismissal. A tier of space opened beside him, inside it. Endless fire, molten rivers, weapons forming and breaking in an eternal cycle. Before stepping through, he paused, just slightly. The world you built. His voice echoed faintly, will answer for what it did to him. Then, he was gone. Taking Naruto with him, silence returned to the valley. Kakashi dropped to his knees. The ground felt heavier, the air colder, everything felt wrong. His hands trembled. What have I done? For the first time in years. Headache Kakashi had no answer. Hours later, the Forge Realm. Naruto's eyes fluttered open. Pain lingered, but it was different now. Distant, muted, he sat up slowly. And froze, weapons, thousands of them, blades, spears, chains, tools that didn't belong to any known shinobi system. Some hummed with power, others radiated silence so deep it felt dangerous. And among them, seals, complex, beautiful, unfamiliar. Naruto's eyes widened. What the hell? Awake already. The voice came from behind. Naruto turned instantly. Alert, ready, a massive man sat nearby. Broad shoulders, scarred skin, grease-stained hands, eyes that burned like dying embers. Naruto narrowed his gaze. Who are you? The man leaned forward slightly. A faint smirk tugged at his lips. Tell me first. His voice was calm but heavy. Do you believe in gods? Naruto stared, then scoffed lightly. I believe in strength. For a moment. Silence, then the man raised his hand. No seals, no warning. Fire bloomed in his palm, not chakra, not ninjutsu, something else. Something that made the Nine Tails recoil inside Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened. What are you? The man stood, towering, unshaken. You've lived your life surrounded by lies. His gaze locked onto Naruto. It's time you learn the truth. My name. The flames intensified, is Hephaestus. The pause. Heavy, deliberate, and I am your father. Naruto's world. Shattered 10 years later. The ocean roared beneath a burning sky. Chaos had already begun. A monstrous creature staggered. Arrows embedded deep within its body. Its roar shook the air, but it wasn't fear that filled its eyes, it was realization. They've arrived. From the tree line. Figures emerged, silent, precise, deadly, at their center. A young girl, calm, commanding, unyielding. Stand down, she said quietly. The creature snarled, you cannot. A shadow moved behind it, too fast, too silent, too precise. Steel flashed, and in a single motion. Everything ended, the creature collapsed, disintegrating into nothingness. Silence fell, a boy stepped forward. No. Not a boy, a warrior, blonde hair streaked with fire. Eyes carrying 3 different storms, presence that bent the air around him. He didn't look at the fallen enemy, he looked ahead, already aware of everything. Weapons hidden, power restrained, control absolute. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. His voice was calm, but carried something ancient beneath it. son of Hephaestus. A pause, then chosen by Athena. His gaze locked onto the group before him. Let's see if you're worth the trouble. But deep inside, something stirred, not the nine tails, something else. Something that had been growing silently for 10 years and far above. Beyond even the gods. Something had finally noticed him. The ocean wind howled like a warning, cold, restless, endless. Waves crashed violently against the cliffs below as if the sea itself rejected what had just occurred. The remains of battle still lingered in the air, dust, ash, and the faint echo of something ancient being erased from existence. No one spoke, not at first, because standing there among hunters, demigods, and frightened children was something none of them could fully understand. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and the silence around him wasn't natural. It bent, it listened. Naruto extended his hand, calm, composed, almost friendly. Percy Jackson hesitated. His instincts screamed, but pride and curiosity pushed him forward. He grabbed Naruto's hand, firm grip, a challenge for half a second. Nothing happened, then Naruto moved. Fast, too fast, a sharp crack split the air. Percy's head snapped sideways as Naruto's fist connected cleanly with his jaw. The impact sent him stumbling back, vision blurring, pain exploding across his face. The taste of iron flooded his mouth. What the? Percy barely regained his footing, hand clutching his jaw, rage igniting instantly. His fingers twitched toward his weapon. Then he froze, the air changed. It pressed down on him, not like water, not like gravity, something deeper, something older. Percy had felt gods before. He had stood in the presence of death itself, but this wasn't overwhelming, it was controlled, focused, like a blade resting gently against his throat. Naruto stood there, staring, his eyes were no longer human. A deep, burning crimson replaced the blue, not wild, not chaotic, but furious. That hit. Naruto's voice came low, sharp, was mercy. The ground beneath Percy's feet cracked slightly, not from power. From intent, you rushed in. Another step forward, you ignored risk. Another, you gambled with lives that weren't yours to gamble. Percy couldn't breathe properly. His grip on his weapon loosened, not by choice, but because his body refused to disobey that presence. Naruto stopped inches away. His voice dropped to a whisper, if any of them had died. The crimson in his eyes deepened. You wouldn't be standing right now. The wind stilled, even the ocean seemed quieter. Enough. A hand touched Naruto's shoulder, light but absolute, the tension shattered. Naruto inhaled slowly, once, twice. Then the red faded, replaced again by something human, something restrained. He stepped back, expression easing. Sorry. It wasn't directed at Percy. It was for her, the girl beside him, auburn hair catching the fading light, eyes that didn't belong to a mortal world, ancient, observing. She smiled faintly, and the world felt balanced again. Percy, still holding his jaw, stared. Something about that smile made his chest tight. Not fear, not danger, something else entirely. Naruto noticed. Of course he did. Keep staring, he said flatly, and I won't hold back next time. Percy snapped his gaze away instantly. Naruto turned back to the girl, and just like that, the intensity vanished. Been a while, he said softly. She stepped closer, studying him, not his strength, not his power, him. Out of all the reckless mortals I've seen. Her voice was calm, measured. You remain the most interesting. Then, she hugged him, not as a goddess, not as a ruler, but as someone who remembered him. It's good to see you again, Naruto. Naruto's expression softened in a way no one else had seen yet. Yeah. A small pause. You too, Artemis. Percy's brain stopped. Artemis, he blinked twice. Wait, what? Before he could process anything further, two red blurs slammed into Naruto. Naruto. He barely had time to react before he was knocked flat onto the ground. Two small figures clung to him tightly. Laughing, excited, alive, Naruto groaned. You two didn't get weaker, huh? Twin red-haired girls beamed at him. We missed you. Naruto sat up, ruffling their hair gently, and I didn't. They laughed, and for a moment, everything felt normal, but it didn't last because Naruto's gaze shifted past them, toward the ones who didn't belong in this world, two children, frozen, watching, fear, confusion, recognition. Naruto stood slowly. His expression changed again, not softer, not colder, careful. He walked toward them, each step deliberate, measured. His voice dropped, gentler now. You remember me. The boy blinked, then leaned forward, eyes widening. Naruto. The girl stiffened beside him. Recognition hit slower, but harder. Naruto smiled faintly. Yeah. The air shifted again, not from power this time, from truth. Naruto glanced briefly at Artemis, at the hunters, at the demigods, then back to the children. I need you to listen carefully. The wind picked up again, colder, sharper, because nothing is normal anymore. The girl took a small step back. What do you mean? Naruto's eyes darkened slightly. Everything you were told is stories. A pause. They weren't stories. Silence. The gods. The monsters. The underworld. Each word landed heavier than the last. They're all real. The boy's eyes lit up. That's awesome. The girl grabbed his arm tightly. No, it's not. She looked at Naruto, desperate. This is a joke, right? Naruto didn't smile. I wish it was. The wind howled louder, then Naruto looked at the boy again. Go with him. He nodded toward Grover. He'll explain better. The boy hesitated, then slowly walked away. Now, only Naruto and the girl remained. Naruto exhaled quietly. Walk with me. Before she could respond, light swallowed them both and they vanished elsewhere. The ocean roared beneath an empty sky. Percy paced, frustrated, uneasy. Where did they go? No answer. Grover remained calm. Annabeth stayed quiet. Thalia leaned back. Watching, they're fine, Grover said. Percy frowned. You trust him that much? Silence, then. A blade struck the ground beside Percy's foot. Another followed. He froze. Thalia's voice cut through the air. Finish that thought. Lightning flickered faintly in her eyes. I dare you. Percy swallowed for once. He stayed quiet. Unknown location. Bianca collapsed to her knees, breathing hard, disoriented. Naruto crouched beside her, holding out water. Sorry. She took it with shaking hands. What was that? Naruto glanced at the sky, far above, beyond, a shortcut. A faint smirk through places we're not supposed to cross. She didn't understand, but she felt it, something about that movement. Was wrong. Naruto stood, expression turning serious. Listen carefully. The air grew heavier again, because what you choose next. A pause will decide what kind of life you're allowed to have. Far above them, something stirred, something that had been watching far longer than gods, and for the first time. It focused on Naruto. The wind returned, softer now, but colder, like something unseen had settled over the land, watching, waiting, listening. The camp was quiet. Too quiet for a place filled with warriors, hunters, and children who had just survived death. Even laughter felt restrained. Even breathing felt measured. Nico broke the silence. What about me? His voice was small, but it cut through everything. Heads turned. Even Naruto's gaze shifted. Nico stood beside Grover, clutching the game pieces in his hands like they were anchors to a normal life that was already slipping away. Can I come too? There it was, not excitement, not fear, just a child asking not to be left behind. Zoe opened her mouth. But Naruto moved first, a flick of his wrist, something small spun through the air. Nico caught it instinctively. He looked down and froze. No way. His voice trembled in his palm. A figurine, dark, detailed, powerful. Well, hell it is. His breath hitched. This is impossible. He looked up at Naruto. Eyes shining. Where did you get this? Naruto shrugged lightly. had access to things most people don't. A pause figured it belonged with you more than anyone. Nico clutched it tighter, like it mattered more than anything else in that moment. Naruto's gaze shifted, landing on Annabeth. Hey. A faint smirk, go easy on him. Annabeth didn't argue, didn't question, she just stood up and walked over. Percy blinked, confused, because this wasn't how she reacted to strangers, but Naruto wasn't a stranger to them. That realization sat heavy in Percy's chest. Nearby, Grover exhaled in relief, quiet, grateful. Because losing to a 10-year-old repeatedly had been destroying what little pride he had left, Naruto's attention shifted again to Zoe. You avoid people too much. Zoe stiffened slightly, then looked away. Unnecessary attachments weaken judgment. Naruto tilted his head, or strengthen it. Silence. Zoe didn't respond, but she didn't argue either, because deep down, she knew inside the tent. The atmosphere changed the moment they entered, still, controlled, heavy. Artemis sat at the center, not elevated, not distant, but everything in the space revolved around her presence. Sit. Naruto obeyed without hesitation. Percy and Bianca followed, though far less comfortably. Two hunters stood behind them. One watched Percy like a drawn arrow, the other watched Naruto. With something softer, Artemis's gaze settled on Bianca, as he explained. Bianca nodded slowly, her fingers tightened in her lap. Artemis waited. She did not rush, she did not pressure, because true choices were not meant to be forced. And your answer? Silence stretched. Bianca looked at Naruto, searching, hoping for guidance. Naruto exhaled softly. I gave you the paths. His voice was steady. I won't choose for you. Artemis observed that, carefully. You continue to surprise me. Naruto scratched the back of his neck. I try. Percy finally broke. Hold on, what paths? Naruto glanced at him, then spoke. There are 3 ways your story can go. The air grew heavier. 1. He raised a finger. You follow them. A slight nod toward Percy. Train under structure, rules, protection. 2. Another finger. You abandon time itself. A glance toward Artemis and become something beyond human. 3. His hand lowered. You walk with me. Silence. Percy frowned. And that means what exactly? Naruto's eyes darkened slightly. It means no safety net. A pause. No rules. Another. No one to save you if you fail. Bianca's breath caught, but Naruto's voice softened. You'll never be powerless again. The words hit deeper than anything else. Percy stepped forward. Camp is safer. Naruto's gaze snapped to him. Safe. A faint, humorless smile, or controlled. Percy frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Naruto leaned forward slightly. You train heroes. A pause. I create survivors. Oh. The difference hung heavy in the air. Percy clenched his fists. You're saying we're weak. Naruto shook his head. I'm saying you're protected. Another pause. And protection. His voice lowered, creates dependence. Silence. Bianca's breathing grew uneven, because both sides made sense. One offered safety, the other freedom. What about my brother? She whispered. Naruto didn't hesitate. He stays with you. Percy stiffened. Naruto's gaze didn't waver. I don't take people away from what they love. That one line shifted everything. Bianca's fists clenched tighter. I've always had to be strong for him. Her voice cracked slightly, but I never got to choose who I wanted to be. Silence. Then she looked up, eyes no longer uncertain. I choose myself. Oh. The air shifted. Percy closed his eyes briefly. Frustration, disappointment, acceptance, all tangled together. Yeah. He muttered, figured. Naruto stood. Then it's done. He pulled out a strip of cloth, simple, unremarkable. Give me your arm. Bianca hesitated, then obeyed, the cloth wrapped around her wrist. Say it. Naruto's voice lowered, that you accept this path. Bianca inhaled, then, I accept. The world reacted, a faint glow, soft, then. Violent energy surged, not like lightning, not like fire, like something waking up. Bianca gasped, her body trembled, eyes wide. It didn't hurt, it overwhelmed. Her senses sharpened, her breathing steadied, her fear. Faded, what is this? Naruto smiled faintly, power. She laughed, soft, disbelieving. I feel. The pause free. Naruto turned away slightly. Good. Because that feeling was dangerous, addictive, and once you had it, you could never go back behind them. Percy stood in silence, not angry anymore, just left behind outside the tent. Dawn crept closer, Artemis stood, we move soon. Her eyes shifted toward the horizon, and we will not travel alone. Naruto's expression changed slightly, you're calling him. Artemis didn't deny it, yes. Naruto exhaled slowly, that's going to be annoying. Artemis almost smiled, you have no idea. Far above, beyond clouds, beyond sky, something ancient stirred again, watching, not the gods, not the hunters, only him, Naruto, and for the first time. It moved.
Naruto did not just change Bianca fat, he changed the rule of the entire world. A girl who once lived in fear now holds a power she barely understands. A hero like Percy is starting to question everything he believed in. And above them all, something ancient has finally noticed Naruto. Not a good, not a monster, something far worse. So now the question is, what happened when even the gods are no longer at the top of the food chain? And more importantly, is Naruto becoming the world protector or the beginning of its downfall? Stay with me because chapter 3 is where everything starts to break.
The sky had begun to pale, night was dying, but it refused to go quietly. Cold winds swept across the camp, dragging shadows along with it, stretching them unnaturally across the ground. The forest stood still, watching. The ocean in the distance no longer roared, it murmured, like it knew something was coming, like it was waiting. The tent flap shifted. Naruto stepped out first. The air greeted him like an old rival, testing, probing, measuring. Behind him, Percy followed. But his attention wasn't on the sky or the wind or even the growing tension in the atmosphere. It was on Naruto, because nothing about him felt normal, not anymore. Naruto. The voice cracked before it fully formed. Naruto barely had time to react before Annabeth closed the distance. Fast, desperate. For a moment, she just stared at him, like her mind was struggling to accept what her eyes were seeing. Is it really you? Her voice was quieter now. Fragile, Naruto smiled, not the controlled one he showed others, something softer, older, familiar. Yeah. He reached out, resting his hand gently on her head. I'm still here, Annie. That was all it took. The dam broke. Annabeth slammed into him, arms tightening around his body as if letting go would make him disappear again. Her breath hitched, her hands trembled. You were gone. Her voice cracked against his shoulder. Everyone said you were gone. Naruto didn't respond immediately. His arms slowly came up, returning the embrace, carefully, like he wasn't sure if he deserved it. I know. 2 words heavy. Percy stood a few steps away, frozen. He had seen Annabeth angry, confident, unbreakable, but this wasn't the Annabeth he knew, and the way she held on to Naruto. It twisted something inside his chest, something he didn't want to name. What happened to you? Annabeth whispered, pulling back just enough to look at him. Searching, Naruto's eyes met hers for a brief second. Something dark flickered behind them, too much. That was all he said. Later, he added quietly, I'll tell you everything. Annabeth nodded, but she didn't let go immediately. I thought I lost you. Naruto's expression softened again. You didn't. Behind them. Footsteps approached, heavy, sharp, unforgiving. Annabeth stepped aside. Thalia stood there. Lightning flickered faintly in her eyes. Not power, emotion for a moment. They just looked at each other, then... Crack. Naruto's head snapped slightly to the side. The slap echoed louder than it should have. You idiot. Thalia's voice broke. Where were you? Tears blurred her vision, but she didn't care. You disappeared, no message, no sign, nothing. Naruto didn't react, didn't defend himself. I know. Thalia's fists clenched. We thought you were dead. Silence stretched, heavy, painful. Naruto exhaled slowly. I couldn't come back. Not wouldn't, couldn't, I was dealing with things. His voice lowered. That would have put all of you in danger. Thalia's glare wavered. That's not your decision to make. Naruto looked at her directly. I'd make it again. Oh, the honesty in that answer hurt more than any lie. Thalia stepped forward and pulled him into a tight embrace. Don't do that again. Her voice was quieter now, fragile. Naruto hesitated, then slowly returned it. I won't. This time. He meant it. Percy watched everything, silent, confused, frustrated, disconnected, because somehow everyone here knew Naruto, trusted him, except him. The light came without warning, blinding, violent, descending from the sky like something tearing through reality itself. Everyone turned away instinctively, shields raised, eyes covered. Then it stopped where there had been nothing. Now stood a man, golden hair, radiant presence, smiling. Until his gaze landed on Naruto, the smile vanished instantly. You. Oh. The word dropped like a stone. Naruto groaned quietly. Here we go. The man stepped forward, energy radiating from him like sunlight turned sharp. Why are you here? Artemis answered before Naruto could. He fought. Her voice was calm, certain. He stays. The man's jaw tightened. You trust him too easily. Naruto's eyes narrowed slightly. And you judged too quickly. The tension snapped, the air between them crackled. Percy glanced between them. What is going on? No one answered because this wasn't just tension, this was history, old, complicated, unresolved. Naruto stepped forward slightly. Let's clear something up. His voice dropped, sharp. I'm not who you think I am. The man's eyes flashed. You're exactly what I think you are. Oh. Naruto's gaze hardened. No. A pause. I'm worse. Silence. Artemis stepped between them. That's enough. The command wasn't loud, but it was absolute. The tension didn't vanish, but it paused. We move at dawn, she said calmly, and we move together. Her eyes shifted briefly. Toward Naruto, no exceptions. The man looked away first, frustrated, restrained. Naruto exhaled slowly, but his eyes remained sharp because far above, beyond even divine sight. Something had gotten closer, not physically, but aware, watching him, measuring him, and for the first time, Naruto felt it, a presence that made even his father's power feel small. A whisper echoed in the back of his mind. Not words, not sound, intent, and it carried only one thing. When trust. Naruto's expression didn't change, but deep inside, something ancient answered back, and that was the real beginning of the problem. The road stretched endlessly beneath them, dark, silent, too quiet for a world that had just begun to shift. Inside the vehicle, no one spoke for a while, not because there was nothing to say, but because there was too much. Percy leaned forward slightly, eyes fixed on Naruto. You saved them before, didn't you? Naruto didn't answer, but Annabeth did. He didn't just save us. Her voice was softer now. He stood between us and death. The air changed, and without warning, the past came alive, years ago before the camp. The night had been worse back then, not quiet, not still, it screamed. Monsters poured through the forest like a living tide. Claws, teeth, eyes glowing in the dark. They were running, all of them, Luke at the front. Annabeth barely keeping up, Grover panicking but moving, Thalia limping. And Naruto. Always just behind them, watching, counting, waiting. The forest was an escape, it was a funnel, driving them toward something. Or away from something worse, a scream tore through the air. Thalia hit the ground hard, something had her. A whip coiled around her leg tight, unyielding, dragging her back. Let go. She clawed at the ground, desperate, but it didn't matter. The shadows moved closer. 3 figures, winged, smiling, end her. The command echoed like a death sentence. Annabeth screamed, Grover froze, Luke hesitated. Just for a second, Naruto didn't. Steel flashed, the whip snapped. Golden sparks scattered through the darkness like shattered sunlight. Naruto landed between Thalia and the monsters, silent, still, if you want her. His grip tightened on the weapon in his hand. You go through me. There was no fear in his voice, only certainty. Go. He didn't look back. Grover hesitated. Naruto. No. That was enough. They moved, dragging Thalia, pulling Annabeth, running. Even as she screamed his name, Naruto stood alone. The forest closed in around him. Dozens of monsters, then hundreds, and still. He didn't step back. Good. A faint smirk. I was getting bored running anyway. Then, he moved. What followed was not a fight, it was a storm. Blades cut through flesh that shouldn't blade. Creatures fell before they could react. Speed, precision. Control, a cyclops dropped. A hellhound split apart mid-leap. A fury screamed. Then vanished in a burst of golden light. Naruto didn't stop, didn't slow, didn't hesitate, because behind him were people who trusted him, and that alone was enough. Pain came eventually. A strike, a misstep, a moment. Blood hit the ground. Naruto dropped to one knee, for the first time. The monsters smiled. Any last words? Naruto looked up, breathing steady, eyes sharp. Yeah. A pause, too slow. Light erupted, space bent, and in the next instant, everything changed. The battlefield disappeared, and the monsters never made it past that night, back to the present. He didn't just fight them. Thalia's voice was quieter now. He made sure they never followed us again. Oh. Silence filled the vehicle. Percy leaned back slowly. He didn't say anything, but the way he looked at Naruto had changed. Not fully trust, not yet, but something close. Then where were you? He asked finally. All this time. Naruto's grip on the controls tightened slightly. Everywhere I needed to be. Not an answer, but it was all Percy got. Then the world shook violently. The vehicle rattled, metal groaned. What was that? An explosion tore through the air beside them. Screams followed. Naruto's eyes snapped to the mirror, and what he saw made his expression darken instantly. No. High above. Something moved through the sky, not natural, not divine, controlled. A massive white construct cut through the clouds. And standing atop it, a figure, blonde hair. Cold smile, eyes that didn't belong in this world. Naruto's voice dropped. Akatsuki. The word alone carried death with it. Another object dropped from the sky. Naruto swerved. The explosion hit behind them. But the shockwave still reached. The vehicle lurched. Who is that? Thalia shouted. Naruto didn't look back. Someone who should not exist here. Another blast, closer. Naruto's mind moved instantly. Calculating, adapting, hold on. The vehicle shifted, not mechanically. Seamlessly, its structure bent, changed, transformed, wings unfolded, metal streamlined in seconds. They weren't on the road anymore. They were airborne. Percy stared. You've got to be kidding me. Naruto pulled up hard. Dodging another incoming attack, less talking. His voice sharpened. More surviving. The enemy moved faster now, closing distance. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Fine. He reached forward. triggering something beneath them, weapons deployed, Jackson, Annabeth. They looked up, don't miss. That was all he said. They moved, no hesitation, because now they understood this wasn't training, this was war. The sky exploded into chaos. Projectiles collided midair, explosions lit up the clouds. Naruto maneuvered sharply. Each movement precise, controlled, but the enemy didn't stop, didn't hesitate, didn't retreat, persistent. Naruto muttered, then he made a decision, a final strike launched, the sky erupted, and for a moment, everything went still, smoke cleared, the enemy gone, silence returned, but not peace. Naruto didn't relax. Didn't smile because deep down, he knew that wasn't the end. Far above, something else watched, not impressed, not surprised, just waiting, and now it had seen enough.
Naruto Pass is not just powerful, it's terrifying. A boy who once stood alone against an army of monsters now faces enemies that don't even belong to this world. The Akatsuki have arrived, the gods are watching, and something far beyond them has finally taken interest. This is not just a journey anymore, it's a collision of worlds. So now the real question, when Shinobi, God and Monster all clash, who survive? And more importantly, what happened when Naruto stopped holding back? Stay with me because chapter 4 is where the war truly begins.
The sky above Camp Half-Blood was unnaturally still. No wind, no birds, no sound. It felt wrong. The trees stood frozen, their leaves barely moving, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Even the sunlight filtering through the branches seemed dull, muted, like something unseen had dimmed the world. Then, the roar of something unnatural tore through the silence. A streak of metal and fire cut across the sky. Descending fast, too fast, it hit the ground with controlled violence. Dust exploded outward, the earth trembled, and then silence returned, the hatch opened. Thalia was the first one out. She stumbled forward, then dropped to her knees. Air, she needed air. Her chest heaved violently as she clutched the ground beneath her, fingers digging into the dirt like it was the only thing keeping her from falling again. I can't. Her voice broke between breaths. The sky above her looked too far, too open, too high. She squeezed her eyes shut, trying to ground herself, trying to forget the flight behind her. The others emerged slower, shaken. Grover didn't walk out, he was carried. Annabeth and Percy struggled to keep him steady, his body limp, foam at the edge of his lips from sheer overload. He's not okay. Percy muttered. Annabeth didn't respond, but her grip tightened. Two campers rushed forward, taking Grover from them and sprinting toward the big house. The rest followed. No one spoke. Because even if they tried, they wouldn't know where to start. Inside the big house, the familiar scent of wood and old books lingered. Chiron sat at the center, cards in hand, calm, measured, across from him. Dionysus, already bored, already uninterested, until the door opened. Chiron looked up first, a smile forming instinctively. Then it vanished, his cards slipped from his hands. Naruto. The name left his lips like something fragile, uncertain, impossible. Naruto stood there, still, unchanged, and yet completely different. A faint smile crossed his face. Miss me. Chiron didn't answer, because in the next instant, he moved faster than anyone expected and pulled Naruto into a crushing embrace. You were gone. His voice cracked. We thought. Naruto winced slightly under the force, but he didn't pull away. I know. That was enough. Chiron pulled back slowly, eyes scanning him, searching for damage, for proof. You're alive. Naruto nodded. Took longer than I planned. Behind them. Akin hit the floor. Everyone turned. Dionysus stood there, frozen, staring. Naruto sighed lightly. Still dramatic, I see. He reached into his cloak, pulled out a can, then another, then more. Thought you'd want these. Dionysus took one slowly, opened it, took a sip, and froze for a moment. No one understood what was happening. Then his shoulders shook. And then he broke. The god of wine collapsed forward, gripping Naruto tightly, not with power, not with authority, but with something painfully human. It's really you. The room fell silent. Percy stared, completely stunned. Thalia blinked, then quietly pulled out something. Recording, because no one would ever believe this. Annabeth just stood there, watching, processing. Naruto, meanwhile, was slowly suffocating air. Dionysus released him instantly, disappearing the next second. Clutching the cans like something sacred, silence lingered. Chiron cleared his throat. Right. A pause, we proceed. His gaze shifted to our guests. Bianca and Nico stood quietly, uncertain. You've done well. Chiron nodded, then his eyes returned to Naruto, and what of her path? Naruto didn't hesitate. She walks with me. The room shifted slightly. Percy stepped forward. That's not Percy. Oh. Chiron's voice stopped him, not harsh, not loud, but final. Every hero chooses their own road. Silence followed. Percy clenched his jaw, but didn't argue, not this time. The mission was explained, briefly, the danger, the hunt, the growing instability. Chiron listened, carefully, by the end. His expression had darkened. Then things are worse than we thought. A pause, but this, he exhaled, requires patience. His gaze returned to Naruto, and answers. Naruto met his eyes, then nodded. I'll tell them. Chiron turned, already moving. I'll gather the counselors. When just like that, he was gone. Time passed. The air inside the big house felt different now, heavier. Naruto sat with Bianca nearby, weapons laid out between them. Balance. He adjusted her grip. Not strength. She nodded, focused, nearby. Nico laughed softly, still playing, still unaware of how much his world had changed. Annabeth and Thalia spoke in low voices, memories, fragments, things Percy wasn't part of, and Percy watched, trying to understand, trying to decide who Naruto really was, friend or something else entirely. The door opened and chaos followed. Two figures rushed in, Naruto. They collided with him instantly. Naruto barely had time to react before he was pulled into another tight embrace. You're back. Tears, relief, disbelief. Naruto exhaled softly. Yeah. His voice gentler now. I'm back. More figures appeared at the doorway, watching, waiting, because the past had just walked back into their lives. And not everyone was ready for what came with it. Naruto looked up, meeting their eyes one by one, friends, allies, people he had left behind. We've got a lot to talk about. But deep inside, he felt it again, that presence, closer now, not watching from afar anymore, reaching, and for the first time. Naruto wasn't sure if even he was ready for what was coming next. The wind outside had changed again, not louder, not stronger, just colder. Inside the big house, warmth tried to exist. Laughter, voices, familiar faces, but beneath it all, something lingered, the past and the weight it carried. The whole camp thought you were gone. The words weren't loud, but they landed heavy. Naruto didn't respond immediately, because he didn't need to. He could see it, in their eyes. In the way they stood, in the silence between their words, what his absence had done. Annabeth had changed. Her emotions no longer spilled easily, locked behind walls built from loss. Thalia had grown sharper, harder, like lightning that never truly faded. Grover. Naruto's gaze shifted briefly toward the satyr resting nearby. Even now, there was hesitation in his breathing, a quiet lack of confidence that hadn't been there before. Clara stood tall, strong, unshaken, but Naruto could see through it. Strength wasn't always real, sometimes. It was armor. Katie lingered near the windows, quiet, withdrawn. Silena avoided everyone's gaze. Charles stood firm. But his hands told a different story, calloused, overworked, and the Stoll brothers. Still smiling, still joking. But their laughter Didn't reach their eyes. Naruto exhaled slowly. I know. That was all he said, because anything more would have broken something, but I'm here now. His voice steadied, and I'm not going anywhere. Not this time, a promise, and everyone there knew what that meant because Naruto didn't make promises lightly. Charles smiled faintly. Then things might finally go back to normal. Naruto didn't answer that because deep down, he knew nothing was normal anymore, but he didn't say it. Instead, he turned, a grin breaking through the heaviness. So, his eyes landed on the twins. What kind of chaos have you two been causing? Travis and Connor lit up instantly. Energy returned, mischief reignited. You have no idea. They pulled out notes, lists, plans. Naruto read through them and laughed genuinely. You're getting better. That alone made their entire year. Wait till you see what we planned next. Naruto raised a hand. We'll make it worse. Their eyes sparkled because if there was one thing they knew, it was this. Naruto didn't prank, he redefined it. Across the room, several demigods visibly tensed, because if those three worked together, Camp Half-Blood would not survive peacefully. Percy blinked. Why do I feel like that's a bad thing? No one answered because it absolutely was. Naruto moved again, this time toward Claris. She met him halfway. Neither spoke at first. Then she pulled him into a tight embrace. You took your time. Naruto chuckled softly. Had a few things to deal with. Oh. Her grip tightened just slightly. Don't disappear again. Naruto didn't joke, didn't deflect. I won't. She pulled back quickly, and her expression hardened again. Anyone says a word about this. Her gaze swept the room. I'll make sure you regret being born. Several campers immediately looked away. Others instinctively shifted their stance. Naruto just smirked, still hiding behind it. Claris's eyes narrowed, then smoke it wrapped around her form, shifting, changing. When it cleared, silence fell. She looked different, softer features, sharper presence, still strong, but no longer hidden behind intimidation alone. Naruto studied her, then smiled. Better. Claris looked away slightly, a faint blush crossing her face. Don't get used to it. Oh. Naruto chuckled across the room. Percy's mind officially gave up trying to understand anything. Okay. He muttered, I'm missing a lot here. Naruto turned, yeah. A pause, you are. When just like that. The mood shifted again, the room settled. Everyone took their places, because now it was time for answers. Percy leaned forward. Start talking. Naruto rested back slightly. I didn't just meet them. A pause, I built them. Silence, not arrogance, not pride, just fact. I found them when no one else would. His eyes moved across the room, one by one. Annabeth lost alone, Thalia fighting, barely surviving, Luke broken in ways no one saw, the twins running from consequences they didn't understand, Claris surrounded by strength, but never safe. Well, they didn't need saving. Naruto's voice lowered. They needed a chance. His hand tapped lightly against the table, so I gave them one. Weapons, skills, discipline, and the choice to stand on their own. One by one. Headbands appeared, proof, not of loyalty, but of survival. Percy stared because suddenly everything made sense. Why they trusted him, why they followed him, why they defended him. Naruto didn't just know them, he had shaped who they became. You trained all of them. Percy asked quietly. Naruto nodded, enough to make sure they don't die easily. Annabeth smirked slightly. He's being modest. Thalia crossed her arms, annoyingly so. The room relaxed slightly, but only slightly. Because underneath everything, something still pressed down on Naruto. that presence, closer now, watching, waiting, and for the first time. It wasn't just observing, it was preparing. Naruto's smile didn't fade, but his eyes shifted because he could feel it, and whatever was coming next wasn't something even this room, full of warriors, demigods, and survivors, was ready for. The wind didn't stop, it never did, even inside Camp Half-Blood. Even surrounded by voices, movement, and life. Something unseen pressed against the edges of reality, watching, listening, waiting. Naruto stood at the center of it all, calm, composed, but inside. His instincts hadn't relaxed once. I still have questions. Percy's voice cut through the room again. Naruto glanced at him, unbothered. Of course you do. Percy stepped forward slightly. When did all this happen? A pause, and what exactly can you do? The room quieted again because everyone wanted to hear that answer. Naruto tilted his head slightly, a faint, almost amused smile forming. I started training them before they even knew what survival meant. His eyes moved across the room, each face, each memory, and I never stopped. A pause. As for me, the air shifted, not violently, but noticeably. I don't specialize. His voice lowered slightly. I adapt. Percy frowned. That doesn't answer anything. Naruto's smile widened slightly. I don't rely on one element. A flicker of energy sparked briefly around his fingers, gone just as quickly. I use all of them. Murmurs spread. I don't rely on one weapon. His hand rested casually near his side. I've mastered everything I've touched. Silence deepened. I don't rely on memory. A brief pause. I don't forget. No, even Percy didn't interrupt, and I don't rely on reaction time. Naruto's gaze sharpened slightly, because I'm already moving before the attack begins. The room felt smaller. That's what I can do. No arrogance, no pride, just truth. Percy exhaled slowly. Right. Because what else was there to say before he could ask more? Enough about that. Thalia stepped forward, eyes sharp, voice steady. But barely holding back. Where were you? Silence returned instantly. The camp didn't just miss you. Her fists clenched. It broke without you. No one argued. Because it was true, Naruto didn't look away. I was healing. Simple, but the weight behind it was anything but. He shifted slightly, pulling back the fabric near his torso, and revealed it, a scar, not shallow, not clean. It stretched across his body like something had tried to tear him apart. And almost succeeded. The room froze. Grover fainted instantly. No one laughed because no one could. That. Annabeth's voice faltered. That did that to you. Naruto lowered the fabric. It was just one of them. That answer was worse after that. He continued quietly. I worked. His eyes darkened slightly, cleaning up things that shouldn't exist. A pause, helping people who wouldn't survive without it. Another, and finishing things that others could. Oh. The room didn't move, including creatures you've only heard about. Annabeth's breath caught. Like what? Naruto looked at her, the ones even gods avoid naming. That was enough. No one asked further because they understood. Training starts tomorrow. Naruto added suddenly, and the tension shifted again, and this time. A faint smirk. I won't go easy. Groans, whispers, fear, because they remembered. Naruto's training didn't hurt, it broke you. Then rebuilt you stronger. You've been warned. Annabeth raised her hand next. What about the hunters? Naruto's expression changed slightly. We crossed paths. A pause, different battlefield. His voice lowered. They were fighting their war. And you joined. Naruto shook his head. I ended it. Oh. Silence after that. He exhaled slightly. They realized something. A faint smirk. Not all men are worth killing. A few hunters nearby rolled their eyes, but none denied it. Thalia stepped forward again. One last thing. Naruto looked at her, already knowing. Are you staying? The question wasn't loud, but it mattered more than anything else. Naruto smiled. Yeah. Simple but real. I'm not leaving again. Thalia didn't hide her reaction this time. Relief, real, unfiltered, before anything else could be said. Chiron stepped forward, then we move forward. His voice carried authority again, with something simple. A pause, capture the flag. Percy blinked after everything that just happened. Thalia smirked, trust me. It won't be simple. Oh. Naruto's eyes gleamed slightly. Hunters versus camp. A faint grin, oh good. Because for him, this wasn't a game, it was a test, outside the forest edge. The trees whispered, the deeper they walked. The quieter the world became. Naruto stopped before anything else. His voice shifted, serious, I need your word. Thalia frowned. About what? Naruto's gaze hardened slightly. No rash decisions. Silence, swear it. One by one. They did reluctantly. Naruto exhaled slowly, then listened carefully. The wind stilled. I found him. Thalia froze. Your brother. Time stopped. He's alive. The world didn't move, didn't breathe. What? Her voice barely existed. Naruto didn't look away. He's alive. Silence stretched, then... Where? Oh. Naruto's expression changed. I can't tell you. The air cracked. Thalia stepped forward. Anger rising. Naruto raised a hand, stopping her. I swore. That was enough. On the sticks. Everything froze again, because that was absolute. Thalia's fists trembled, her breathing uneven. So you know. Naruto nodded, and I can't say. Minutes passed, then. Slowly. She nodded, not because she accepted it, but because she understood, and then. She broke, her arms wrapped around him, tight, desperate. He's alive. Naruto didn't speak, he just held her, because sometimes. That was enough, but far above. Beyond even the sky. Something shifted, not curiosity anymore, not interest, recognition, and it whispered. Not to the world, but to Naruto alone. Found you. Oh. Naruto's eyes widened. Just slightly, because whatever was coming next had finally arrived.
Naruto is back, but everything has changed. Old bonds are rebuilding, secrets are coming to light, and the truth no one expected. Thalia brother is alive, but that's not the real danger. Because something beyond gods, beyond monster, has finally found Naruto. Not watching anymore, not watching anymore. Oh, so now the question is, what exactly has it eyes on Naruto? And why does it feel like even the gods should be afraid? Stay with me because in the next chapter everything began to unravel.
The night refused to settle, even as Camp Half-Blood slept. Even as laughter faded and torches dimmed. Something lingered beneath the surface. The wind moved quietly through the cabins, not harsh, not violent, watching. Naruto walked alone, his steps were slow, measured, not because he was tired, but because he was listening. Every creak of wood, every shift in the trees, every breath the camp took, it all felt different now. He passed the cabins one by one, each told a story. Athena's stood sharp and precise, every angle deliberate, every shadow intentional. Hephaestus burned quietly with life, metal, fire, creation. Hermes was chaotic, movement, laughter, unpredictability. And then others, Zeus towering, cold, Ares heavy, violent, Aphrodite beautiful but hollow. Naruto's gaze lingered on those longer than the rest, still the same. A quiet thought, but not a forgiving one. He moved again toward the forge the moment he stepped inside. The air changed, heat, life, sound, and then voices. Naruto. The reaction was instant, explosive, metal clanged, tools dropped, and suddenly he wasn't alone anymore. They surrounded him, not as warriors, not as demigods, but as family. Charles stepped forward first, trying to hold control, failing slightly. All right, calm down. He exhaled, then smiled. For those who don't know, his voice carried pride. This is Naruto. A pause, the one who made this cabin what it is. Silence followed, then eyes, dozens of them, watching, not with fear, with respect. Naruto scratched the back of his head lightly. Don't make it sound bigger than it is. It is. Charles didn't hesitate. Naruto didn't argue, because deep down, I knew it's good to see you all. And for a moment, that was enough. A figure stepped forward. Familiar, she didn't stop, didn't hesitate. She wrapped her arms around him, tightly. You came back. Naruto's expression softened. Yeah. He returned the hug gently. I did. Memories flickered, dark ones, violent ones, but he pushed them down. This wasn't the time. You're safe now. He added quietly, more for her. Then for himself, she nodded, but didn't let go immediately, because some fears didn't fade that easily, eventually. She stepped back. Naruto turned. Show me. Charles grinned. I was waiting for that. The forge came alive again, weapons laid out, carefully maintained, perfectly balanced. Naruto moved between them slowly, checking, testing, feeling. You didn't stop. Charles shook his head. Couldn't. Naruto picked one up, examined it. Good. Simple, but coming from him. It meant everything. He gathered what he needed, stored it away, then turned, listened carefully. The room stilled instantly, because now this wasn't family speaking, this was a lighter. Training starts at sunrise. No hesitation, no compromise, and this time. His gaze sharpened. I expect more. Silence, because I won't always be there. That line, cut deeper than anything else, understood. Yes. No doubt, no fear, only resolve. Naruto nodded. Satisfied. Assembly moments later. The camp gathered, whispers spread instantly, because he was there, again, alive and standing among them. Bianca and Nico stood beside him, new, uncertain, but claimed. Power shifted above them. A symbol burned into existence. The air grew colder. Recognition spread. The underworld had spoken. Naruto bowed his head slightly, not out of submission, but acknowledgement. Then his name followed, and the reaction was immediate. Cheers, gasps, whispers, different cabins, different reactions, respect, jealousy, curiosity, desire. Naruto ignored all of it because attention was meaningless until it became a threat. He moved to his table, sat down. Ramen. It appeared instantly, and for a brief moment. He allowed himself something simple, normal. Until a presence approached, loud, arrogant, unnecessary. Naruto didn't look up. If you're here to talk. A pause. Make it worth my time. The boy scoffed. You don't look like much. Naruto sighed. Then don't look. Laughter rippled faintly through the hall. The boy's pride cracked. He reached forward, grabbing Naruto's shoulder. Mistake. In the next instant, he was on the ground, air knocked out, control gone. Naruto didn't stand. He knelt, eyes shifting, not fully red, but close enough. You picked the wrong person. His voice dropped. Tomorrow. A pause. You and me. No anger, no shouting, just certainty. Naruto released him, returned to his seat, and continued eating, like nothing happened. But the room exploded. Excitement, shock, anticipation. Because everyone knew what was coming, and it wouldn't be a match, it would be a statement. Naruto didn't react, didn't engage, because something else still lingered even here, even now, after the noise faded, after the night settled. Naruto lay still, eyes open, awake. A cigarette burned faintly between his fingers, smoke rising slowly into the darkness, not for habit, for control, for silence, because inside his mind, that presence returned, closer, clearer, not distant anymore, not observing, waiting, and Naruto, for the first time, didn't ignore it. I know you're there. Silence answered, but it wasn't empty, it was listening, and soon it would respond. Morning didn't arrive gently, it cut through the camp, cold light spilled across the arena, sharp, unforgiving. The ground still held the chill of night, and a thin mist hovered just above it, like something reluctant to leave. Camp Half-Blood was awake, not for breakfast, not for routine, for a fight. Campers gathered in waves, cabins filled the edges of the arena. Voices rose, excitement mixed with tension. Some came to watch, some came to cheer, and some came to witness a mistake. Michael stood at the center, armor fitted, bow in hand, breathing controlled. He moved with precision, arrow after arrow striking the target. Confidence radiated from him, because in his mind, this wasn't a battle, it was a statement. He's taking his time. Charles stepped forward, arms crossed. Thalia nodded slightly. That means he's serious. Percy glanced between them. How serious? Oh. No one answered immediately. Then Annabeth spoke, strong enough to make gods hesitate. Percy blinked. You're joking. No. Grover looked down, his voice quieter now. He's been fighting things we can't even imagine since we were kids. That silence was heavier than any explanation. Percy leaned back slowly, because suddenly, this didn't feel like a match anymore. It felt like an execution. Michael turned, scanning the crowd. Where is he? No answer. A smirk formed. Figures. His voice rose louder. All talk, no. Behind you. The words didn't echo, they didn't need to. Michael froze, turned slowly. Naruto stood there, already present, already watching, leaning slightly against his weapon. Like he had been there the entire time. The arena fell silent. Because this version of Naruto was different, armor wrapped around him, not decorative, not ceremonial, functional, alive. It didn't shine, it absorbed light like it had seen war. Naruto stepped forward, slow, measured. You talk too much. Michael's jaw tightened. You think that scares me? Naruto didn't answer, he moved. The fight started. Before anyone realized it, an arrow flew. It never reached him. A blade intercepted it midair, clean, effortless. Another, same result, faster now. Michael adjusted, changed angle, increased speed. Naruto didn't move much, didn't need to. Each attack neutralized, each move anticipated. Frustration built. Fight me properly. Naruto tilted his head slightly. I am. When that was worse, Michael dropped the bow, drew his blade. Closed distance, steel clashed for the first time. Naruto engaged, not aggressively, controlled. Every strike met, redirected, broken. Michael pushed harder, faster, desperate. Nothing landed, not a single hit. Naruto's eyes sharpened. Done. Michael roared, swinging harder, and in that moment, Naruto disappeared. The arena stilled. What? Then, a voice close, too close. You left an opening. Pain followed, sharp, sudden. Michael collapsed, not broken, not destroyed, but defeated, completely. Silence, then. The arena erupted, laughter, cheers, shock. Naruto stood calmly, weapon resting at his side, unbothered. Kairon's voice cut through the noise. Victory goes to Naruto. But it didn't feel like a victory, it felt like a warning. Later, forest edge. The noise faded behind them. The forest welcomed them again, quiet still, but not safe, never safe. Questions came instantly, too many, too fast. Naruto raised a hand, one at a time. Annabeth stepped forward first. That armor. Her eyes lit with curiosity. Where did you get it? Naruto exhaled softly. It was given to me. A pause by someone who believed I'd need it. That was enough, Percy stepped next. Why do you treat all this like it's normal? Naruto looked at him, because for me. A pause it is. Silence followed, then. Bianca stepped forward. When do we start? No hesitation, no fear. Naruto smiled slightly. Now. He formed a hand sign, and suddenly, another Naruto stood beside him. Percy blinked. You've got to be kidding me. The clone took a scroll, nodded once, and vanished into the camp. Naruto turned back. From here on. His voice shifted. You don't train to survive. A pause, you train to win. The forest grew quieter, the air heavier, because somewhere, beyond the trees, beyond the sky, something watched, and for the first time. It wasn't just observing Naruto, it was observing what he was building, and that interested it even more. The forest was silent, not peaceful, not calm. It was the kind of silence that watched. Morning light barely reached the deeper parts of the woods. Shadows stretched unnaturally between the trees, twisting with the wind that never quite touched the ground. This place wasn't meant for comfort, it was meant for growth. Naruto stood still, arms crossed, eyes scanning everything behind him. Bianca hesitated. The deeper they went, the heavier the air felt, not dangerous but demanding. Naruto didn't turn. You ready? Her answer came after a breath. Yes. Excitement, fear, determination, all mixed into one. Naruto nodded once. Good. He gestured toward the ground. Sit. She obeyed instantly, not because she was told to, but because something about him made you listen. Naruto lowered himself across from her. For now, we don't fight. A pause, we understand. Bianca tilted her head slightly. Naruto smirked faintly. Training isn't just strength. Another pause, it's knowing who you are before you become something else. He leaned back slightly. I'll start. The wind shifted. Listening, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. His voice was calm, steady. I like simple things. A faint smile, food, crafting, fighting, the people I trust. Then, it faded. I don't tolerate betrayal. The air grew colder, or people who hurt others for their own satisfaction. Bianca didn't interrupt, because for a moment, Naruto didn't sound like a boy, he sounded like something older. My goal. A pause is to build a place where no one has to survive alone. Silence followed. Bianca swallowed, then nodded. My turn. Her voice was quieter but no less real. I'm Bianca. A pause. I like my brother. That came first without hesitation, and I hate feeling like I'm stuck. Her fingers tightened slightly, like I don't have a choice. Oh. Naruto didn't react, but he listened. My goal. She exhaled is to finally choose for myself. Silence then. Naruto smiled. Good. Because that was where real strength began, the first lesson. Naruto stood. Now we train. Bianca rose quickly, focused. Naruto stepped closer, power without control. His voice lowered. Will destroy you before it helps you. He tapped lightly against her chest. You already have it. A pause. Now you learn to use it. Bianca nodded. What do I do? Naruto stepped back. Close your eyes. She did. Breathe. Slow, controlled, forget everything around you. The forest faded, the wind disappeared. Find it. At first, nothing, then. A spark, warm, familiar, I feel it. Naruto didn't interrupt. Don't chase it. Oh. His voice softened. Let it come to you. The energy shifted, it moved, wild, unstable. Bianca's breathing hitched. It's moving. Good. Naruto's eyes sharpened. Now control it. That's where it changed. The warmth turned chaotic, like trying to hold water in open hands. Bianca clenched her fists. No. It slipped again, frustration built, her body tensed. I can't. Yes, you can. Naruto's voice cut through everything, sharp, grounding, don't fight it. A pause, guide it. Her breathing steadied, slow, careful, the energy responded, less resistance, more flow, minutes passed, sweat formed, her body trembled, but she didn't stop because now she understood it wasn't about force, it was about control, and finally, I did it. The energy settled, stable. Alive, Bianca collapsed slightly. Breathing hard, Naruto smiled, 15 minutes. A pause, that's fast. Pride not exaggerated, real, Bianca looked up. And for a second, her heart skipped because that look, that approval, meant more than she expected. Don't get used to it. Naruto added casually, that was the easy part. She blinked, what? Naruto turned, next lesson. He walked toward a tree, stay standing on it. Bianca stared, you're joking. Naruto didn't look back, climb. Elsewhere, camp training grounds. Chaos controlled chaos, camp half-blooded transformed, not into a battlefield, into something worse, a training ground, and Naruto was everywhere, not physically, but effectively. Clones moved across the field. Each one carrying the same presence, the same intensity, the same expectations. Faster. Again. Don't think, move. Campers pushed past their limits, some collapsed, some struggled, but no one stopped because stopping meant falling behind, and falling behind meant weakness. An Ares camper stumbled. A clone appeared instantly. Your strength is wasted if you can't control it. The correction was immediate, no softness, no hesitation, elsewhere. Weapons clashed, sparks flew. Athena and Ares campers struggled to keep up. Naruto's clone dismantled every attack, effortlessly, predictable. A strike too slow. Another too open. They fell again and still. They stood back up because that's what Naruto had taught them, not how to win, how to endure. Back in the forest. Bianca fell again and again. The tree rejected her, or maybe she rejected herself. Focus. Naruto watched silently. You're thinking too much. Bianca groaned, I'm trying. Naruto stepped forward, placed his hand against the tree, then walked up it casually like gravity didn't exist. It's not about the tree. He looked down at her, it's about you. Bianca clenched her fists, then tried again. Step, slip, again, step. Hold, her eyes widened. I'm doing it. She took another step, then another, and suddenly she was standing on the tree, not climbing, standing, balanced. I did it. Her voice echoed through the forest. Naruto smirked. Don't celebrate yet. She blinked. Why? Naruto pointed upward. Now run. Bianca froze. You're insane. Naruto's smile widened. Welcome to training. Far above, beyond even the sky. That presence watched not just Naruto anymore, but the girl, the camp, the system, and for the first time, it wasn't just interested, it was calculating. The forest echoed with steel, not the chaotic noise of battle, but something sharper, more controlled, training. Sparks burst where weapons collided, feet shifted across dirt and roots, breath came fast, heavy. Thalia moved first, her spear struck the ground. And lightning answered, energy surged forward in a violent arc. Naruto didn't block, he vanished upward, the current tore through empty space. Claris didn't hesitate, she used the momentum. Jumped from Thalia's back, and hurled her spear with lethal precision. Naruto twisted midair, the weapon passed inches from his throat. He caught it, spun, and sent it back, faster. Claris barely reacted in time. Grabbing the shaft before it could pierce through her neck, the force alone dragged her backward, boots tearing through dirt. Naruto landed, no pause, he charged. Thalia met him head-on. Claris followed. Three forces collided, steel rang, each strike tested, each movement calculated. Naruto didn't overpower them, he read them. And then he found it, a single opening, the moment their attacks aligned. He shifted, redirected both spears downward, and broke their balance. They spun, hit the ground, air ripped from their lungs, silence followed. Naruto stood over them. Done. Not arrogance, finality, then. He glanced down. A thin line of red, a shallow wound, he smiled slightly. You got me. Thalia's eyes lit up instantly. Claris grinned, finally. They pushed themselves up, ignoring the pain, because after all this time, they had landed a hit, even if it was just a clone. Naruto helped them both up. Not bad. Simple praise, but coming from him. It meant everything behind him. Another Naruto approached. Bianca followed, soaked, bruised, breathing hard. The clone dissolved, memories transferred instantly. Naruto winced. You're improving, he said calmly. Bianca groaned. I hate trees. Naruto smirked. You'll hate water more. Thalia crossed her arms. She did both already. Naruto nodded, faster than expected. Bianca straightened slightly, even exhausted. That meant something. Where's Nico? Naruto pointed toward the field, learning. Bianca followed his gaze, stories, training, a new world unfolding. Then a scream tore through the air. Everyone turned. A body flew across the field, hit the ground hard, rolled, stopped. Naruto didn't react. That's Percy. Calm, almost amused, then his expression froze, pain, sudden, sharp. He doubled slightly, clutching his core. Oh. The memory hit. Thalia stepped forward instantly. What happened? Naruto barely managed a strained laugh. Clone feedback. Everyone winced in sympathy because they knew that kind of pain was not normal moments earlier. Percy was exhausted, sweat soaked his clothes, bruises formed across his arm. And Naruto hadn't even slowed down. This is insane. Every attack Percy threw was countered, every move. I anticipated getting tired. Naruto asked calmly. Percy clenched his fists. No. One more chance, that's all he needed. Naruto moved again, closing distance, and Percy swung, not calculated, not controlled, instinct, and it landed direct. Silence. Percy froze. He actually hit him. A grin started forming, until the air changed, heavy, dark, dangerous. Naruto stood there, still, then flames ignited, not chakra, something deeper. His eyes burned, locked onto Percy. You. His voice dropped, just made a mistake. Percy stepped back instinctively, because this wasn't training anymore, this was survival. Then movement too fast, impact. Everything went black, back to the present. Everyone stared, then some laughed, others winced. Annabeth face-palmed. Idiot. Naruto straightened slowly, healing already kicking in. We'll deal with him later. His tone. Calm, too calm. Several campers stepped back instinctively, because they knew that tone. It meant Percy wasn't safe. Big house, strategy meeting. The atmosphere shifted again, less chaos, more focus. Counselors gathered, some still recovering, some still whispering. Naruto leaned back slightly, watching. The room wasn't confident, it was desperate. Chiron stepped forward. We need a plan. Silence, because there wasn't one, not a good one. Naruto exhaled slowly. I have one. Everyone moved instantly, too fast, too eager. Naruto pushed them back. Personal space. They stepped away, embarrassed but hopeful. Naruto stood. Your problem is repetition. The room stilled. You fight the same way. A pause, and they already know it. No one argued because it was true. Naruto crossed his arms, so we change everything. The energy shifted, hope replaced doubt, multiple lighters. Annabeth blinked. Why? Naruto looked at her, because one mind can't control chaos. Silence but four can guide it. Understanding spread, Naruto continued, groups formed, leaders assigned, each one chosen carefully, not by strength, by instinct, finally. Percy, he froze. Why me? Naruto smirked slightly, because you don't realize what you are yet. A pause, the leader. Percy didn't respond. But something shifted inside him. Naruto looked around. Any objections? None. Good. He turned, then we win. Not hope, not possibility, certainty outside. The wind picked up again, stronger now and far above. That presence stirred, not observing anymore, not waiting, preparing, because something had changed. Naruto wasn't just growing stronger, he was building something, and whatever watched him had decided that couldn't be allowed. The forest held its breath, not a leaf moved, not a branch creaked, even the wind had gone silent because something was about to begin. Camp Half-Blood gathered at the edge of the woods, weapons checked, armor tightened, eyes sharp, but beneath the preparation there was something else, anticipation. Because this time, they weren't walking into another loss, they were walking into something different. Naruto stood slightly apart from the others, calm, his weapon spun lazily in his hand. A smooth, controlled motion that betrayed nothing of what he was thinking, but his presence alone changed the atmosphere. People watched him, some openly, some quietly, admiration, jealousy, curiosity, all of it lingered in the air. Naruto ignored it because attention didn't win battles, preparation did, positions. His voice was low, but it carried. The leaders moved first. Annabeth, Thalia, Claris, Percy, each one guiding their group, each one carrying a part of the plan. Naruto's plan, not perfect, but unpredictable, and that alone was enough to change everything. Annabeth stepped closer to him. Are you sure about this? There was no arrogance in her voice, no pride, only doubt. Years of losing had carved that into her. Naruto turned slightly. You still thinking like before? She frowned. What does that mean? Naruto met her gaze. You're planning not to lose. A pause. I'm planning to win. The difference settled between them, heavy, real. Naruto's hand rested briefly on her shoulder. Trust it. Not him, the plan, the team, herself. Annabeth exhaled slowly, then nodded. We win. Naruto smirked slightly. That's better. Across the field, Percy watched. Something tightened in his chest. Not anger, not exactly, something else. Something he didn't understand yet. The horn sounded, sharp, final. Oh, and just like that, the forest came alive. The plan moves. The team split instantly. Percy's group vanished into the trees, fast, fluid. Thalia's team dropped beneath the earth, disappearing into shadow. Claris's group moved like a storm. Direct, aggressive, Annabeth remained behind. Defending, calculating, and Naruto moved between them all, not leading, guiding, watching, adjusting, because a plan was never meant to stay perfect. It was meant to evolve, far above Mount Olympus. The sky shimmered, the mist shifted, and for once, Olympus paid attention, not out of boredom, but curiosity, because something had changed. Finally, something worth watching. Voices echoed through the great hall. Gods leaned forward, eyes focused. Because below, a different kind of battle was unfolding, not just strength, strategy, and at the center of it, Naruto, he's not moving like the others. One voice noted, he's not supposed to. Another replied, because he's not playing the same game. The mist flickered, showing glimpses, movements, shifts, unpredictable, dangerous, and then they saw it, Naruto stepping forward, calm, unbothered, and suddenly even the gods fell quiet, because something about him Didn't feel like it belonged under their sky anymore, back in the forest. Naruto paused just for a second, his eyes lifted slightly, not to the trees, not to the sky, but beyond. He felt it, that presence, closer, watching not just him, but everything, the camp, the hunters, the plan. So you're still there. Oh. A whisper only he heard, only it answered, not with words but with pressure, recognition. Naruto's grip tightened slightly, then watch. Because this time, he wasn't just surviving, he was building something, and if that thing wanted to interfere, it would have to face all of it, not just him. The forest shifted again, the game continued, but somewhere, deep beneath it, something far more dangerous had already begun. The sky above Olympus dimmed, not because of clouds, but because attention had shifted. The great hall of gods had grown quieter, not silent, never silent, but focused. Eyes that once wandered now remained fixed on the mist, watching, studying. Hera sat still, her expression unreadable for a brief moment. Her gaze softened, not toward the battlefield, but toward a single figure within it. Then he turned away, the distance remained, and once again, she didn't understand why. Across the hall, Aphrodite leaned back slightly, uncharacteristically quiet, her thoughts tangled, not on beauty, not on desire, but on something unfamiliar, conflict, because for the first time, something she wanted felt out of reach, and that unsettled her. Zeus exhaled sharply, breaking the tension. Enough. The mist shifted, the battlefield below came into full view, and Olympus watched. Camp Half-Blood, the game begins. The horn had already sounded, the forest swallowed them whole, each team moved like a living machine. No hesitation, no wasted motion, because this time, they weren't guessing, they were executing. Naruto's unit, deep forest. The trees thickened, light dimmed. Naruto's group moved fast, too fast for normal demigods, but this wasn't normal anymore. They didn't breathe heavily, didn't slow, didn't break formation, because Naruto had trained them beyond that. Then his hand rose, instant stop, no sound, no questions, just stillness. Naruto's eyes shifted slightly. 3. Low, precise, watching. The team understood immediately. Scouts. Naruto didn't turn, didn't point, split. Orders came like instinct, and just like that, they disappeared. Right flank, Katie and Silina. The branches barely moved. They climbed without sound, without presence, eyes locked onto targets, hunters, alert, focused. Katie exhaled slowly. Silina nodded once, no words needed. Their hands moved together, small needles, light, silent, release. The air barely noticed. The hunters did, but too late. A prick, a shift, then wait. Their bodies slowed, vision blurred. They collapsed, silently. Katie allowed herself a small smile. Still got it. Silina smirked. We never lost it. Left flank, Charles and Medali's. The ground shifted, barely noticeable. Then movement, hands shot upward, grabbing, pulling. The hunters vanished. Dragged beneath the surface, panic, struggle, then stillness. A seal formed, sound vanished completely. They couldn't call out, couldn't warn. Charles looked down calmly. Stay quiet. Medali's tilted her head slightly. You'll be fine. They left them there, buried, not defeated, neutralized. Centered Naruto and Bianca. The forest thinned slightly, 2 figures ahead, young, smaller. Naruto's expression shifted. Them. Bianca followed his gaze. They're just kids. Naruto didn't answer immediately, because that was the problem. They shouldn't be here. But they were, and the game didn't care. Naruto raised his bow. Bianca mirrored him. No hesitation. His voice softened slightly, just control. They aimed, waited, timing mattered. Now. Release. The arrows struck. Not the targets, the ground. Gas erupted. The 2 hunters barely had time to react, coughing, struggling. Then stillness. They fell unharmed, sleeping. Bianca lowered her bow slowly. That felt Naruto glanced at her. Right. Because strength wasn't about destruction, it was about control. Naruto nodded once. Good shot. Bianca blinked, then smiled. Small but real reformation. The team regrouped quickly. 3 scout units gone, no alarms raised, no signals sent. Naruto stood at the center. We move. Because this was just the beginning, far above. The mist flickered, Olympus lined forward, because now they understood this wasn't luck, this wasn't coincidence, this was planning, execution, control, and at the center of it, Naruto, he's changing them. One voice whispered, another answered, no. A pause, he's awakening them. Silence followed because deep down, even the gods knew. That kind of change never came without consequence and far beyond them. Something else watched, not impressed, not threatened, but interested. Because now, it saw it clearly, Naruto wasn't alone anymore. He was building something, and that was far more dangerous than a single warrior. The forest had changed. What was once still now breathed. Leaves trembled without wind. Branches shifted without touch, and somewhere within that silence, the hunt had reversed. The predators were no longer the hunters. Percy's unit above the canopy. The air felt heavier the deeper they moved. Percy's group advanced through the trees like shadows. Careful, controlled, quiet, then a signal. Travis froze mid-step. Connor's hand rose instantly. Everyone stopped. No sound, no movement. 3 ahead, Connor whispered, eyes narrowing. Close formation. Percy exhaled slowly. Plan. The answer came in the form of a grin. A dangerous one. Travis tilted his head. We do what we do best. Connor's fingers flicked open a pouch. Small spheres rolled into his palm. We make it fun. Even Percy felt a chill, because when Hermes' kids said fun, someone was about to suffer, the prank gone wrong. The bombs dropped silently, a soft pop. Then gas. The hunters reacted too late, or so it seemed, when the mist cleared. 2 remained. Wait, Travis blinked. Where S? A hand landed on his shoulder, cold, heavy. Connor froze, looking for someone. The voice came from behind, too close, too calm. They turned and saw her, tall, unmoving, unimpressed, and very, very angry. The scream that followed shattered the forest's silence. Intervention. Percy didn't hesitate, sword out. Will lie with me. Oh. Branches cracked under speed. They arrived just in time to see chaos. The stoles flattened the hunter. Unshaken, Percy moved, fast, distract her. Arrows flew, the hunter shifted, dodging instinctively, and that was the opening. Percy dropped behind her. One clean strike, she fell. Silence returned. You 2 alive? Percy asked. Define alive, Travis groaned. Connor winced. We'll survive. Barely. Naruto's voice, the link between units. The radio crackled. Percy spoke quickly. Then Naruto answered, calm, too calm. That was Phoebe. A pause, and you're lucky she stopped. Percy frowned slightly. She has history with Hermes' kids. The stoles groaned again. Yeah, we felt that. Naruto didn't elaborate, but his tone said enough. That wasn't even her full strength, main force, the ambush point. The forest grew thick, dense, heavy with mist. Naruto stood still, listening, feeling, calculating, positions. The radio whispered back, all set. Waiting. Below ground. Naruto's lips curved slightly, perfect. His hands moved, fast, precise. The earth responded, a wall rose. Silent but massive, then mist thick, blinding. The battlefield vanished. Claris frowned. We're missing something. Naruto's smile deepened. No. A pause. We're not. He bit his thumb, blood, seal, the ground trembled. The hunter's tension builds. The hunters felt it, that shift, that wrongness, the mist, the silence, the missing scouts. Their leader's voice cut through. Won't chuck it. Oh. Two moved forward reluctantly, minutes passed, then. A sound, a roar, screams followed, raw, terrified, they came running back. Broken, what did you see? Someone demanded, but no answer came. Only collapse, fear had already spread, and then. The ground shook, closer, closer. The hunters fired, arrows vanished into mist, no impact, no result. Only the sound continued, until. It emerged, not a beast, something worse, a construct, metal, bone, towering, a skeletal titan. Shaped like something ancient, something impossible, it roared and fire answered for the first time. The hunters hesitated, springing the trap. No. Naruto's voice cut through everything. The sky broke, campers descended from above. Blades, arrows, force, the ground erupted. More rising from below. The formation shattered instantly. Chaos took over, but not random chaos. Controlled chaos, groups moved with precision. 2 against 1, 3 against 1, overwhelming, calculated. Percy clashed hard. Steel against steel, Thalia moved like lightning. Relentless, Claris drove forward. Pure force and Naruto. Naruto didn't stop, he moved through them, not fighting. Clearing precise strikes, minimal effort, until. The flag, 2 guards gone in seconds. Naruto's hand closed around it, victory. Within reach, a final push. Thalia, hold them. His voice carried, clear, commanding, she grinned. And surged forward, Naruto moved, fast. The battlefield blurred behind him, the construct roared again. Covering the retreat, everything. Had worked perfectly, far beyond. Something stirred. Not in Olympus, not in the forest, somewhere else. Watching, waiting, and now. Interested because for the first time. Naruto didn't just fight, he led, he built, he changed the outcome, and that made him dangerous not as a warrior, but as something far greater.
And just like that, everything had changed. For the first time in years, the hunter were pushed back. Not by luck, not by chance, but by strategy, precision, and Naruto. This was not just a victory, it was proof that Naruto is not just strong, he is building something far more dangerous. A force even the gods are starting to notice. And trust me, what coming next? It's not just another battle, it's something much bigger. So if you don't want to wait and you want early access to the next part before anyone else, join our Patreon right now, link in the description, because chapter 8 is where things stop being a game and start being a war.